A lot of people confuse jack pine and lodgepole pine. Lodgepole pine is found in Western Canada, and it was subject to the mountain pine beetle attack some years.
Jim is a saint. He is one in a zillion person.
My name is Jim Good. I am the developer of Goodsir Nature Park, Salmon Valley, Prince George. I opened it in 1997 to the public, but I homesteaded here in the fall of 1987. And I homesteaded from scratch, and in the following year I built the very first trails for the park. It was just a hobby park back in those days.
The Goodsir Nature Park is of vital importance to Prince George. It's a hub of education. Every day that I go in there, and I'm a middle-aged person, I'm still learning, you know, and he has brought his passion for nature into this park and his passion for botany.
I came from the Chilliwack area, and it's very, very common in its natural range on the coast, extending from sea level up to roughly about 3,500 feet elevation. All the plant life that's in the park, each forest region is not necessarily complete. Neither is the museums, but there's something from every part of the country in the park, whether it be a live plant on one of the trails or something in the J.L. Good Botanical Museum.
And I'm sure there was many people who didn't believe that he would do this, who didn't take him seriously.
Things like it's foolish and impractical, there's the door, have a nice day, don't call us, we'll call you, things like that. It was very, very difficult. And this park was built entirely on a janitor's salary. I worked as a janitor for over 50 years, all my working life. It's about a year and a half ago, I was feeling weak. I didn't know at first. I didn't know that I was suffering the makings of a heart attack. I'd never had a heart attack before. I've always been healthy. I went to emergency. They sent me home at first. I went back a few days later, and they discovered it was my heart. I had a second heart attack. I went down to Vancouver St. Paul's Hospital for major open heart surgery, a quadruple bypass, and a leaky valve repair. I'm well in spirit, but I'm very, very weak. My voice is a little bit distorted, I can't do any physical work. Very, very little work can I do right now, and I have to rely on volunteers.
I called Jim and I had a conversation with him, and I asked him, I said, is there anything you need? Because we didn't have our wallets while we were there, so we couldn't drop any money in. And we got talking. We ended up talking on the phone for quite some time, and he said he needed wood to burn over the winter time because his main source of heating is a wood burning source. So I offered, because I live on an acreage, I said, we will bring you as much wood as you need. My husband does a lot of cleaning up around the yard. And I actually talked to Jim about other ways that we could raise funds to try and support Jim, given that his health has recently deteriorated.
I do have a sponsor now. BRINK Forest Products has come forward in the history, my personal history, and in the history of the park. They're the very first ones, the BRINK Forest Products. Prince George has come forward.
He was looking for pieces of lumber 2 feet long, and he saw we had lots of them. And, and he told me also that he had been buying pieces from one of the retail stores here, and they were giving him a 10% discount, but they couldn't do that anymore, so they had to pay full price. So he was asking me if I could sell him the pieces and give him the discount. So at that point I said, well, I give you all the lumber you want for free. So we went down there and we said, this is absolutely, totally unique. and then we decided that we want to be part of this.
I've had conversations with people like Scott McWalter, who works for John Brinks, and I know that they share a passion with me to promote this park and ensure that the longevity of this park is ensured. So I have a lot of faith in the work that they can do, and I'm very, very grateful for their humanity and compassion, because they are devoted to the conservation issues in this park. And that is very, very important. And I think that's significant for Prince George, because these are local people putting back into their community, and local people who have the knowledge and the expertise and the resources to do so.
I'm worried about how the park will come about when I'm no longer here. This park, some of the trees I planted from other parts of the country are showing signs they could live hundreds of years, live all of us. Future generations will see this place, and that's one of my wishes, to have this place go on. I'm not worried about name credits or anything like that. I just want this place to go on. It's very much a part of Canada.
We're still very, very committed being part of making sure that it is his legacy that will be there for the future generations, and be working as we speak now at bringing people together and organizations together to make sure we preserve the legacy.
There is something so incredibly special about this park and spiritual, and I really appreciate the spiritual touches that Jim has put in to making this park such a beautiful and safe sanctuary for everyone.
Everybody's welcome at Goodsir. The park is now open year-round. It's open for winter activities, and no one has ever turned away from Goodsir. I don't keep regular shop hours, but I'm here most of the time to greet people when they come in. And I can't think of a finer way to spend my retirement years, sharing my stories and sharing what I've loved to do.